Walk through any RV storage lot and you will see the same depressing sight hiding behind the chain link fence. Dozens of modern, glossy travel trailers and fifth wheels are sitting under sun-bleached tarps, their flashy exterior graphics already peeling, their windshields still carrying the faded ink of old dealership discount stickers. These are not junk fixer-uppers. They are barely used rigs quietly resold by retired couples who watched their dream turn into a rotted nightmare. A dealer sees inventory they can dress up with a shiny accent light. A mechanic sees a floor plan that is going to break your wallet in 3 years. Before we start, comment the RV you're shopping right now, because some names look safe until you inspect them. Number 7. Early 2000s Bigfoot Travel Trailer, Molded Fiberglass. This is the trailer buyers walk past because it looks exactly like an oversized vintage cooler on wheels, and that is the exact mistake that cost them thousands. A retired machinist named Dave from Michigan came into my shop last winter with a folder full of glossy brochures for modern ultralight travel trailers. He had worked 34 years in a fabrication plant, saved his money, and wanted one clean bumper pull for solo cross-country trips. But he was terrified of structural rot because his next-door neighbor had just watched the entire curbside wall of a 3-year-old traditional trailer collapse due to a hidden running light leak. Dave was looking at a brand new ultralight model that featured a massive slide-out, high-gloss gel-coat side panels, and beautiful modern gray interior woodwork. The salesman had him completely convinced that the lightweight eco-construction was the future of RVing. I stopped him cold. I took him out to the yard and showed him how those modern ultralights are put together. They use ultra-thin Rowan backing panels and cheap pinch-bonded lamination that will bubble, separate, and rot the moment moisture gets past a single inch of exterior caulking. This is where the brochure gets quiet. Molded fiberglass eliminates 90% of the seams found on standard trailers. A Bigfoot is built out of 2 massive pieces of molded fiberglass shell, joined at the center like a clamshell. There are no traditional roof edge seams to fail, no vertical corner moldings to leak, and no wood framing inside the walls to rot out. If you look at the 2002 to 2008 Bigfoot 2500 series travel trailers, you are looking at a used price range between $18,000 and $26,000. Here is the mechanic math on a choice like this. Buying that new lightweight trailer costs $38,000 up front, loses $12,000 in market value the second you pull it off the dealer lot, and faces a highly probable $6,000 delamination repair by year 4 if you skip a roof inspection. The vintage Bigfoot costs $22,000 cash, depreciates $0 over the next 5 years because the market desperately craves them, and needs only about $200 in basic rubber window seals every decade. The practical consequence is that you spend your retirement camping in the middle of a torrential downpour without waking up at 2 in the morning to check your ceiling panels for damp spots. The real drawback here is the interior styling. It looks like a time capsule from 1998, featuring heavy oak-grained laminates, dated fabric patterns, and a distinctly narrow floor plan because there are no slide-outs to expand the living area. If you are a practical buyer who prioritizes true 4-season insulation, heavy thermal pane windows, and structural permanence over interior open space, this makes complete sense. If you feel claustrophobic without a living room slide, or absolutely demand a kitchen island, skip it. You cannot live in a fake fireplace when the wall behind it is turning into oatmeal. But if you need a motorhome instead of a bumper pull, the next rig shows why an ugly front cap can save you a fortune on engine repairs. If a pretty floor plan ever hid an ugly repair bill from you, put the model below. Somebody needs that warning. Number 6. Late 1990s/early 2000s, born free built for 2, Class C. This motorhome has a distinctively odd aerodynamic humpback front end that makes it look more like a commercial airport shuttle than a luxury cruiser. But its internal roll cage construction makes it structurally superior to almost any modern Class C coach on the road. A retired pediatric nurse from Ohio named Martha came to my bay looking for a small, manageable motorhome she could drive comfortably by herself. She was looking at a mid-2010s traditional Class C that featured a massive overcab bunk bed and a gorgeous, shiny, full-body paint package. The dealer was pushing the monthly payment and highlighting the modern digital dashboard of the newer chassis. I crawled underneath the rig with Martha and showed her how the competitor's floor was already sagging over the rear frame extension because the factory used cheap perimeter staples and thin plywood to support the weight of the water tanks. This is why mechanics look at it differently. Born Free did not build cheap houses on top of trucks. They utilized 3 heavy-duty tubular steel roll bars built directly into the fiberglass body framework, anchoring the coach body to the frame with high-tensile fasteners. If you focus on the 1998 to 2005 models riding on the Ford E450 chassis with the legendary 6.8-liter V10 engine, you will find clean examples sitting consistently between $15,000 and $24,000. Let us look at the real mechanic math. A modern Class C runs around $90,000 today, tying you down with a massive monthly payment and high insurance premiums. The vintage Born Free costs $18,000 cash. Even if you spend $4,000 immediately on 6 new Michelin tires, a fresh fuel pump, and a complete bumper-to-bumper fluid flush in my shop, you are still ahead by nearly $68,000. The practical consequence of this build quality shows up on the interstate. The coach tracks perfectly straight down the highway even during heavy crosswinds or when semi-trucks pass you at 80 miles per hour, completely eliminating the exhausting steering wheel white-knuckle wander that plagues cheaply built Class C motorhomes. The real drawback is that the exterior fiberglass gel coat on these older units is almost always oxidized and chalky, requiring aggressive compounding to look decent, and the floor plan lacks a dedicated, walk-around permanent bed, meaning you are sleeping on a convertible sofa or twin beds. If you are a solo traveler or a couple who wants a bulletproof drivetrain, easy parking capability, and a coach body that will never separate from the cab, this is your rig. If you demand a walk-around queen bed or a modern touchscreen command center that controls your lights from your phone, skip it. Dealers sell the paint job. I sell the steel cage that keeps the roof off your head. Now, if you think you need a massive, expensive truck to pull a bulletproof trailer, this next plain-looking box proves you can tow quality with a standard vehicle you might already own. Number 5. 1990s Scamp 19-foot fifth wheel. This rig looks like a miniature, misshapen white egg that has no business sitting in the bed of a pickup truck, but it weighs under 3,000 pounds and uses a mechanical layout that outlasts modern half-ton fifth wheels by decades. An industrial maintenance supervisor named Gary retired after 30 years of keeping assembly lines running. He wanted the stability of a fifth-wheel hitch, but absolutely refused to buy a rough-riding, expensive 1-ton dually truck just to pull a weekend camper. A local dealership had him looking at a modern half-ton series ultralight fifth wheel that featured beautiful residential styling, theater seating, and a large rear entertainment center. Gary was staring at the sheet, assuming his current truck would handle it easily. I had him bring his truck to the shop, checked his actual door jamb payload sticker, and showed him that the modern half-ton fifth wheel's real-world pin weight would instantly overload his rear axle the moment he loaded propane and fresh water. The secret is not in the furniture, it is underneath it. The Scamp uses an incredibly lightweight, 2-piece eggshell fiberglass layout that puts almost no stress on its steel frame, completely preventing the structural frame sag and broken outriggers common in modern lightweight fifth wheels. If you track down the 1995 to 2005 Scamp 19-foot models, you will find their dry weight sits between 2,000 and 2,800 pounds, with used market pricing ranging from $12,000 to $18,000. The mechanic math here is staggering. The modern ultralight fifth wheel costs $55,000, plus an inevitable $60,000 heavy-duty truck upgrade because your half-ton cannot carry it safely. The Scamp costs $14,000 and runs flawlessly behind a small mid-sized pickup or standard light-duty truck that you already park in your driveway, saving you over $80,000 in total package costs. The practical consequence is that your fuel economy remains high while towing, and there are absolutely no complex electric slide motors, hydraulic lines, or electronic control boards to fail when you are camped miles away from the nearest service technician. The real drawback is the wet bath setup, which is incredibly cramped, and the headroom is severely limited for anyone over 6 feet tall. Additionally, the interior utilizes marine-grade insulation carpet on the walls that looks like a fuzzy green capsule. If you are a downsizing couple looking for absolute simplicity, effortless towing stability, and a trailer that can be pulled by a standard small truck, this is an incredible choice. If you are tall, want a dry bath with a separate porcelain shower, or need space for grandkids, skip it. The prettiest trailers on the highway are usually the ones sitting in my lot waiting for back-ordered parts. But what if you want a heavy, rock-solid bumper pull, built like a commercial warehouse? The next trailer looks like a construction site office, and that is exactly why it survives. Number 4. Mid-2000s Nash 22H by Northwood. This trailer has a completely dated, boxy profile with plain white corrugated aluminum siding that makes it look more like a mobile office than a vacation home. But its independently certified off-road chassis makes modern smooth-sided trailers look like cardboard toys. A retired construction foreman from Oregon named Ken came to my shop wanting a rig capable of boondocking on rough Forest Service roads without shaking the cabinets off the walls. He was about to sign a contract on a sleek, dark-painted modern travel trailer that featured a massive front automotive windshield, smooth fiberglass sides, and a beautiful outdoor kitchen. The dealer told him the smooth walls were much better for insulation and aerodynamics. I took Ken underneath a similar fiberglass model in my shop and showed him the thin, stamped steel outriggers supporting the wall structure, which were already flexing under simple hand pressure. This is the line item that saves people. Northwood builds their own thick-gauge structural steel chassis in-house, rather than buying cheap, mass-produced outsourced frames. They anchor the wood-framed walls with heavy structural fasteners directly into that steel foundation, wrapping the exterior in independent corrugated aluminum panels. When you look at the 2004 to 2009 Nash 22H models, you are getting an uninsulated-looking but incredibly tough box with a used price range of only $8,000 to $13,000. Let us look at the mechanic math on this build. A modern smooth-sided fiberglass trailer costs $35,000 new and requires a $4,000 specialized fiberglass repair the first time the front windshield cracks from frame flex on a rough road. The Nash costs $10,000, and if you scrape a branch on a tight mountain trail, a single corrugated aluminum panel can be unscrewed and replaced individually in your driveway for a few $100s. The practical consequence is that the plumbing lines and holding tanks are entirely enclosed in an insulated underbelly that receives direct heat from the furnace, allowing for stress-free winter travel and zero frozen lines when the temperature drops. The real drawback is the aesthetic. The corrugated aluminum skin looks 20 years old, it is highly susceptible to cosmetic hail dents, and the interior fabrics look like a logging cabin from the mid-90s. If you are an off-grid camper, hunter, or boondocker who cares about frame thickness, cold weather protection, and structural strength, this is a tank. If you only visit luxury RV resorts with strict 10-year age limit rules or hate the look of aluminum siding, skip it. Before we get to number 1, tell me what you would rather own: cheaper today or cheaper after 5 years of repairs. Next up is a luxury Class A diesel pusher that looks like a touring bus from a past decade, but it hides a chassis that will easily run for 500,000 miles. Number 3. Late 1990s Safari Serengeti, Class A diesel. The exterior of this massive coach features eccentric, hand-painted wildlife murals of cheetahs and elephants that turn off modern buyers who want sleek, full-body paint. But underneath those crazy graphics lies a custom-engineered chassis and a bulletproof commercial mechanical drivetrain. A retired couple from Texas, Bill and Susan, spent 2 years running the floor at a manufacturing plant and wanted to travel full-time. They were deeply dismayed by the cheap plastic dashboards, rattling walls, and creaking slide-outs of the new $150,000 gas coaches they tested at the dealership. The salesperson kept pointing at the modern farmhouse interior look and the triple slide-outs that made it look like a suburban apartment. I pulled the engine hatch on a used diesel coach and showed them the difference between a light-duty gas chassis and a commercial truck foundation. This is why mechanics look at it differently. The Safari Serengeti rides on the proprietary Magnum rail chassis and utilizes a mechanical Caterpillar engine completely free of modern, complex diesel emissions gear like DPF or DEF systems that constantly fail and trip limp mode codes on the highway. If you target the 1996 to 2000 Safari Serengeti models with the Caterpillar 3126 engine and the heavy-duty Allison 6-speed transmission, you will find used market prices sitting comfortably between $25,000 and $38,000. Here is the real mechanic math. The new gas coach costs $160,000 and drops $40,000 in market value over the first 3 years of ownership alone. The Safari costs $30,000 has already completely flatlined on its depreciation curve, and features a heavy-duty commercial Allison transmission that will outlast 3 gas engines. The practical consequence of this build is inside the cabin. The solid hardwood cabinetry is made of real alder and walnut, fitted by craftsmen, meaning the cabinet doors stay perfectly aligned and the hinges never strip out even after hitting thousands of miles of rough interstate potholes. The real drawback is parts sourcing. Finding specific exterior fiberglass body panels or original headlight surrounds requires hunting through specialized RV salvage yards, and the wildlife murals mean you will never blend into a crowd. If you are a full-time budget traveler who wants absolute air ride comfort, massive storage capacity, and structural longevity, this is a masterpiece. If you want to fit into tight 25-foot national park spots or feel embarrassed driving a rig with a giant painted lion on the side, skip it. I'd rather explain a painted elephant on the side of my coach than explain a broken transmission to my bank account. And if you want that exact same commercial-grade diesel reliability, but in a much smaller, understated package, this next rare find is a mechanic's holy grail. Number 2. Early 2000s Chinook Concourse, Class B+, Small Class C. This rig looks exactly like a retro, commercial airport shuttle bus or an old ambulance, but its single-piece molded fiberglass shell makes it the sports car of the RV world with an indestructible body structure. An older veteran named Arthur came to my shop wanting something small enough to park in his standard driveway, but built tough enough to handle the punishing washboard gravel of the Alaska highway. The dealership had him looking at a modern European-style diesel Class B van conversion, with an incredibly sleek, narrow profile and ultra-modern interior finishes. The salesman was pushing the high fuel economy claims and the minimalist European cabinet latches. I stopped Arthur before he signed the paperwork. I explained the real-world maintenance costs of modern European diesel emission systems, where a single failed sensor can trap you in a remote town for 3 weeks, waiting for a proprietary scanner. That is where the pretty coach starts losing. The Chinook utilizes a single-piece molded fiberglass hull structure, with absolutely no body seams on the roof or sides, mounted directly onto a ubiquitous Ford truck foundation. If you look for the 2000 to 2005 Chinook Concourse or Premier models on the Ford E350 chassis, with either the 6.8-liter V10 or the legendary 7.3-liter Powerstroke turbo diesel, you are buying into an era of peak mechanical durability for a price between $22,000 and $35,000. Let us look at the mechanic math. A new Class B van costs $140,000 today. The Chinook costs $28,000 used. A replacement Ford alternator costs $200 at any auto parts store in any rural town across the country, whereas the modern import diesel equivalent costs $1,200 plus specialized dealer labor rates. The practical consequence is complete service freedom. You can roll into any rural truck shop, farming cooperative, or roadside garage for oil changes, brakes, and engine service, completely eliminating the 6-month wait times at specialized corporate franchise dealerships. The real drawback is the internal floor plan. The layout is narrow with a rear entry door, and the main bed requires converting the side sofa down every single night, which gets old quickly if you have back pain. If you are a cross-country road tripper who wants a nimble, parking space-friendly rig that completely ignores severe weather and road debris, this is a premium build. If you hate converting furniture into a bed or need a permanent walk-around bedroom area, skip it. You can buy parts for this rig at a tractor supply store in the middle of Montana, and that's worth more than a glossy brochure. But our number 1 spot goes to a trailer that looks so plain, it borders on boring, yet it represents the absolute highest standard of structural engineering ever put on axles. Number 1. 1980s/early 1990s Avion travel trailer. This trailer is constantly ignored by average buyers who mistake it for a dirty, older Airstream copycat. But its superior anodized aluminum skin, heavy 3-rail steel chassis, and rock-solid floor installation make it structurally superior to its famous silver rival. A retired aircraft sheet metal worker named Robert walked into my shop bay carrying a notebook full of construction questions. He had spent his career working with aluminum and was determined to find a used trailer that utilized real mechanical fasteners instead of industrial glue and thin staples. He had visited a modern dealership and was heavily considering a brand new retro-styled aluminum trailer that carried a premium price tag. The salesman was focusing heavily on the beautiful polished exterior shine, the built-in Bluetooth speaker system, and the interior LED accent lighting. I took Robert out to the lot, crawled under a modern competitor, and pulled up a corner of the plastic underbelly material to show him how the thin frame rails were already rusting and how water was pooling near the edges of the completely unprotected OSB particle board subfloor. Here is what nobody tells you. Avion did not build trailers for short-term showroom visual appeal. They utilized heavy-gauge, anodized aluminum panels that never require the constant, expensive clear-coat maintenance or polishing of an Airstream. They mounted these panels to a rigid, custom-fabricated 3-rail steel chassis frame and installed full marine-grade plywood floors that never rot out or sag like modern composite boards. If you focus on the 1985 to 1992 Avion 30-foot to 34-foot models, such as the 32S or the 34-volt, you are getting an independent adjust-a-ride suspension system and a used market price range between $15,000 and $28,000. This is the ultimate mechanic math. A new premium aluminum trailer runs upwards of $110,000 today. A pristine vintage Avion costs $22,000 cash. Spending $8,000 immediately to update the interior appliances, install a modern mattress, and refresh the plumbing valves still leaves over $80,000 sitting safely in your retirement account. The practical consequence of this engineering is the ride quality. The independent suspension ensures the trailer rides exceptionally smooth on the highway, meaning the rivets do not shear off over time, and the interior solid wood cabinetry stays perfectly anchored to the structure for decades. The real drawback is tow vehicle requirements. The exterior cannot easily be polished to a mirror shine due to the specialized anodized finish, and because it is built out of real steel and heavy aluminum, it is undeniably heavy, requiring a proper 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck to tow it safely. If you are a discriminating buyer who wants an heirloom quality trailer built to true aircraft structural standards that will outlast you, this is the holy grail. If you own a light SUV or a standard half-ton truck and refuse to buy a heavier tow vehicle, skip it. They stopped building them like this because they realized they couldn't sell you a replacement 5 years later. When you walk onto a dealership lot, remember that everything you see under the showroom lights is designed to trigger an emotional, impulsive purchase. The glittering kitchens, the massive televisions, and the plush leatherette seating are there to distract you from looking at the roof seams, the frame thickness, and the wall lamination. The true value of a camper is never found in its decorative trim. It is found in the integrity of its bones and the simplicity of its mechanical components. The unglamorous, plain white boxes and the older, ignored rigs we talked about today survived the decades because the money was spent where it mattered, on the chassis, the shell, and the structural engineering. Invest your retirement money in structure, not flash. Find me a better deal in this category. I have been looking for 20 years. I cannot. Comment the RV you want inspected next, because the worst mistakes usually look reasonable on the lot.